Welcome back to CIA Declassified. We've talked about the pills, mermaids, potions, and even some poisons, but right now we're going to step into a room where the walls are white, the air is cold, and the weapon is invisible. Imagine being strapped to a chair. No one is hitting you, no one is shouting, but in front of you is a light, a flickering strobe that flashes at a frequency your brain can't ignore. Your ego begins to dissolve, your memories fragment. This is MK Ultra Subproject 23, a dark corner of the infamous MK Ultra program. It was the CIA's attempt to perfect painless torture. They wanted to find the frequency of compliance, a way to rewrite the human mind using nothing but the power of light. By the mid-1950s, the agency was frustrated with drugs like LSD. They were too unpredictable. They needed something digital, something they could turn on and off with a switch. Subproject 23 was established to study photic stimulation. The CIA funded researchers to explore how flickering lights could induce seizures, hallucinations, and total submissiveness in subjects. A quote from a declassified MK Ultra Subproject 23 progress report. The purpose of this research is to evaluate the use of high-intensity lights as a means of inducing psychological disorientation. Preliminary results indicate that specific pulse rates can disrupt normal thought patterns and heighten suggestibility. End quote. The agency investigated the Bruca effect, where light flashing at 8 to 12 cycles per second matches the brain's alpha waves, causing intense discomfort, and in some cases, a complete mental breakdown. Subproject 23 researchers used Ganzfeld simulation, where a subject is forced to stare into a field of uniform flickering light, depriving the brain of all other visual data until it begins to create its own terrifying hallucinations. A quote from a CIA Technical Services memo. It is essential that the apparatus be capable of varying the color and frequency of the flash to prevent the subject from adapting to the stimulus. End quote. The CIA consulted with top neurologists to find the epileptogenic threshold, the exact point where light causes a brain to short circuit. Subjects of these tests often reported losing time, waking up hours after the lights were turned off with no memory of what had been said to them or what they had confessed. The agency developed a portable version of the Strobe device intended for use in small, darkened interrogation rooms at black sites around the world. Technical logs show the CIA experimented with subliminal flickering, where messages were flashed so fast the conscious mind couldn't see them, but the subconscious was supposedly being programmed. The CIA's interest in Subproject 23 wasn't just interrogation. They wanted to see if they could use light pulse weaponry to clear a room of enemies by causing instant vertigo and nausea. Declassified budgets reveal that thousands of dollars were funneled to the Psychological Research Unit to buy specialized high-speed xenon lamps. Researchers found that combining the strobe lights with high-pitched, oscillating sounds created a synergistic effect that broke subjects down 3 times faster than light alone. The agency eventually integrated these findings into the COBARC Counterintelligence Interrogation Manual, which we have a whole episode on, which emphasized sensory deprivation and overload. Subproject 23 was officially halted in the late 60s, but the data was reportedly moved into even deeper black projects. Official logs state that the agency tested these lights in soundproofed rooms at the University of Rochester to ensure no leaked frequencies reached the general public. A quote from Dr. Sidney Gottlieb from an internal memo. The light pulse method offers a cleanliness of operation that chemical means lack. There is no trace left in the blood, only the scars on the consciousness, end quote. The CIA developed a pulse code projector that looked like a standard office slide projector, allowing an operative to disorient a target using a routine briefing. In 1963, the TSD investigated the use of invisible infrared strobes that could cause physical illness without the target even seeing a flash. Technical data suggests the agency experimented with color shift phasing, switching rapidly between deep red and violet to trigger an immediate state of panic and the amygdala. When you hold the declassified Subproject 23 papers to the light, the redactions aren't just lines, they're entire pages of missing history, like we've seen with so many declassified files. But the heaviest redactions follow the long-term neurological impact section. A theory whispered in the halls of deep state research is that the CIA successfully lobotomized subjects using only light. Speculation suggests the black bars hide the names of living ghosts, men whose personalities were completely erased by the strobe, and the agency is hiding where those shells of people were retired. There is a rumor that the redactions in the field application logs hide Operation Midnight Sun. The speculation: the CIA tested a massive strobe array on an entire small town in the Midwest from a high-altitude balloon to see if they could stun a whole population, and the bars hide the mass amnesia reports. Some researchers believe the black bars in the subject reaction section hide the psychic bleed. The theory is that the strobe frequency accidentally opened a doorway in the human mind, allowing subjects to see things that weren't there or things that were there but invisible to others. The bars hide the descriptions of these interdimensional entities. Could the light have been used for remote control? One wild theory suggests the black bars hide the pulse code index. Speculation is that the CIA found a way to prime a brain with drugs and then trigger a specific violent action using a specific light frequency from a TV or street lamp. Some theorists believe the redactions hide the God flash. The speculation is that the agency found a light frequency that stimulated a profound religious experience, allowing them to make subjects believe they were talking to a deity, and the bars hide the theological engineering logs. There's a theory that the black bars in the budget reconciliation section hide payments to Hollywood consultants. Speculation suggests the CIA worked with movie studios to hide trigger sequences in film trailers, and the redactions cover the box office influence metrics. Some speculate the redactions hide the blue light project. The theory is that a specific blue frequency was discovered that could induce instant cardiac arrest, and the bars hide the non-contact execution protocols. A fringe theory suggests the black bars hide the infant stim logs. The speculation is that the agency tested the strobe rooms on children to see if they could format a mind before it was fully formed, and the redactions cover the nursery project horrors. Whispers claim the black bars in the hardware disposal section hide the fact that the strobe technology was sold to private security firms. The theory is that these light cannons are currently used in quiet rooms of high-end casinos, and the bars hide the corporate sales contracts. Finally, some speculate the redactions hide the mirror room results. The theory is the CIA built a 360-degree strobe chamber that destroyed the subject's sense of self in under 10 minutes, and the black bars hide the ego death transcripts. Was Subproject 23 a success? As a brainwashing tool, not exactly. The human mind is remarkably resilient, and while the light caused trauma, it didn't create a Manchurian candidate. However, as a system of torture, it was terrifyingly effective. It allowed the agency to break a person's will without leaving a single mark on the body, the ultimate clean room tactic. The flickering lights of the 1950s led to some dark breakthroughs as far as operational and technological breakthroughs are concerned, such as neural entrainment. The CIA's research was the first to map how external rhythms can override internal brainwaves. Non-lethal incapacitation. This led to the development of dazzler grenades used by SWAT teams today to disorient suspects. Sensory isolation mastery. The agency perfected the white room environment, which remains the gold standard for high-level psychological pressure. And optic nerve overload. The data helped create specialized goggles for pilots to prevent flicker vertigo caused by helicopter blades. Subproject 23 reminds us that sometimes the most dangerous things aren't what we can't see, it's what we're forced to see. Thanks for listening. Make sure to tune in next time as we examine Project Cold Feet. In 1962, the agency learned of an abandoned Soviet drift station floating on the Arctic ice. The mission dropped 2 officers via B-17 onto the ice, let them scavenge the Soviet logs, and then pick them up using the Skyhook system. It's a tale of sub-zero espionage and a high-stakes retrieval that redefined the Cold War. Join us for The Arctic Ghost. In the meantime, I'll see you in the archives.